all the soccer that happened this weekend. We're going to talk about the biggest game in the country. So much so that a sitting senator was at this game. It made national news everywhere. Like, and I'm not talking about Leagues Cup, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the undefeated champs.
First of all, shout out the Green Mountain Boys, BHOYS, which comes from their roots as Celtic fans. Fun fact there, but shout out to the Green Mountain Boys for this incredible tifo. This is fucking hilarious. I love
it's incredible,
this. This is exactly what American soccer should be about.
You want to emulate European soccer and like reference it and everything? That's the way to do it.
This is exactly how you do it. This is incredible.
Yeah, like this is one of them like unique situations where again they have the sitting senator from Vermont. And they have the guys who run Ben and Jerry's as backers. Like this is just so fucking awesome, right? It's just, there's been a lot of debate. There's been a lot of debate about like what this story actually means for the game. So before we get into that, we just need to say congratulations to Vermont Green. They had a hell of a run.
Undefeated season.
While we're at it, we'll go ahead and shout out the NPSL champs, Hickory FC. They're actually not from California that I stated last week.
North Carolina, right?
North Carolina.
They're from North Carolina. Yeah. They've only been in existence 2 years. They average 4,000.
And they knocked off our beloved Burrito Boys.
And they knocked off the Burrito game, which again was not a good game. I want to apologize. It was really not a good game. We got really good viewership. I think both of these games maxed out at like 17,000 unique views.
Which the Vermont game had an incredible finish. It was absolutely unbelievable.
What was it? 91st minute goal or something like that.
And a banger, and then just jumping up on the folding chair.
Finals energy. I love it. Finals energy. And I want to shout out Ballard FC. I have your sticker on one of my water bottles. I knew who you were before this game. Love you guys.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We go through cycles of like. We learned like the Burrito Boys a couple years ago, and then now they're just in the ethos of they're going to do well in the Open Cup. Same thing with Vermont Green and they were teams that were doing good numbers and they were doing well, but this I think piqued the interest of the soccer, actually some non-soccer fans in general. And then I want to talk about why that is here in a moment. But shout out to both these teams. Shout out to winning local championships. Shout out to doing the legwork. Here's the thing. I think this is what Dallas Atletico is trying to do, which is why they're giving themselves a whole year. They want to build this kind of like bottom-up environment. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it here. Like we're saturated with things to do. Burlington, Vermont, there was probably nothing else to do that night, right? So much so, and I made the joke, this stadium seats 2,500. They quoted approximately 5,000. And I said, the fire marshal must either be lost or massive fan because I don't know how that's possible.
To be fair, capacity stuff does get a little different when it's completely outdoors and it's not all bleachers. So maybe it was legal.
No, it wasn't. If you looked outside, there were people on the fence. There were people on cars in the background. There were people on top of the porta potties. Like they were making it work here. But I just want to get your guys' thoughts on what do you think this storyline and even the NPSL final, what do you think that storyline means for soccer in general? And how it managed to break through in such a heavy soccer summer. We already just talked about it, about how many things got buried while summer of soccer was going on. So I want to hear your guys' opinion.
Do you mind if I go first, Dennis?
Go for it.
A lot of my friends that are not soccer fans or weren't before, what turned them onto soccer was this kind of stuff. It was adjacent to their college football fandom approach.
Yes.
Because they see the celebrations, they see the supporters group, and they go, yeah, I experienced that with my college team and no other place in American sports. So to me, they see this and they see the celebration and the drama at the end. And it reminds a lot of the people I know of college support. And that brings them back to it. I know someone who bought season tickets for FC Dallas 3 years ago because he went to one game. It was in the supporters section with us. And he's been a season ticket member ever since. it's because he got to experience that. It wasn't even about the team being good or bad, although it does help when the team is good. It was, we can be here, we can be rowdy, these people care. And take it a step further, the reason people are really into Detroit City FC and their supporters so hardcore is because that is a local club. They make an effort to be completely local. They care about what their fans say. They care about who their fans want to support, including sponsors. And I don't know, there's not much else to say about a team like Vermont. They're clearly local. They care about everything local. And, I think they would say, fuck off if like something crazy national tried to take them over.
Well, one other thing to keep in mind with Vermont Green, the reason that they are in League 2 and not League 1 is because of their commitment to remain carbon neutral. And if they were offered originally when they started this club to play in USL 1, but the air travel and everything else involved with that would have been too much of a cost to offset. So just a fun fact about Vermont Green and why they are playing in USL 2. And
well, I mean, there are other reasons. The stadium is below the minimum 3,500 you need.
Well, all of these things were considered when they started this club, and their commitment to remain carbon neutral was more important than going after a bigger stadium or building a bigger whatever, all the other things that came with it, and that was their main priority. Which, if we lived in a pro rel world, they would have to deal with next year, right? Because they would win this and they'd be going up. But that's neither here nor there. I will say Vermont is this is definitely a microcosm of what we're seeing, especially in regions like New England. New England is one of those places where, outside of your typical Boston sports teams, right? You've got the Patriots who play outside of Boston and Foxborough, where the Revs play too. You've got your Sox that play in Boston proper, along with the Celts and the Bruins. That region does not have sports teams, right? You've got New England teams that play in Massachusetts, the south end of Massachusetts. When you get up to Vermont, when you get up to Rhode Island, when you get up to Maine, Northern Connecticut, that general region, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles where there are no sports teams, right? There are no local teams. And so when you've got these little regional franchises that can pop up and really service a community of 2,500, 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 fans, it can really blow up, right? Again, no knock on the Atletico guys or anything else like that. It's going to be interesting to see what that looks like in a much bigger market with much more saturation, playing in a much, much larger building that you are never going to get the chance at even coming close to filling.
I mean, they don't really have to. That's not.
No, I'm not saying they have to, and I'm not saying I'm not. Sell out the Cotton Bowl or your team is not a success. That's not what I'm saying at all, right? Isolate that sound bit and save that, right? But what I'm saying is just that it's a completely different model, and you're seeing similar things in like Northern California, in regions where there are there's a team in San Jose, but there's an MLS club in San Jose, but there's nothing in Oakland, and that's why you see a massive club like the Roots take hold. There's nothing in
I will say just a caveat: the Roots got lucky because everybody left, so they got the old A's facility.
Right, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is these clubs are filling a hole that exists in these regions because there is a lack of live professional sports, and there's a lack of for lack of a better term, first level, top level clubs, even on the local level. And for me, I mean, again, going back to the Atletico thing, one of the first things that I was on board with Atletico was like, oh, they're gonna be playing in Garland. I live 20 minutes from Garland, right? That'd be great to not have to drive an hour to Frisco every fucking week to go to a game, right? Not have to drive an hour to fucking the Cotton Bowl to go to Fair Park to go to a game. I'm a little bit less excited about Atletico because they're playing at the Cotton Bowl and not at home. I understand the reality of what they're dealing with, but when you have these smaller regional teams that can service a region, and I think we're seeing a little bit of that in like Texoma right now in Sherman with Texoma. It's not as big, but again, you're that much closer to a large market, right?
Well, Can we talk about this in relation to, say, McKinney, who drew pretty good attendance, and they do seem to have quite a bit of local interest?
Yeah.
Do you think McKinney could build this kind of thing?
I mean, it's a little hit or miss. So McKinney has an independent street, right?
And also Hitch is good at this for some reason.
Right, Hitch is really good at this.
Yeah, he does right now they're doing the Lynchburg, Virginia. They're doing a team, and they already have a contest to name the team, and they're going around the city to breweries and coffee shops and getting people involved that way. That's what I'm saying. I think that's what Atletico is trying to do, right? That's why they did. I don't know if you guys saw them and Josie Records, which is my favorite.
Josie Records, Fortunate Son Pizza, which is that's like my go-to pizza place.
Yeah, so they're trying to do that, and my only issue is you could do that between now and March and start in March. My issue is you might get completely lost next year with all the World Cup stuff.
It's a lot of runway.
So all this work you're doing, within 8 months, people might be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that you announced that." Right? It's one of them things where like you may have shot your load too quickly, type thing. Soundbite.
There's a cold open.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's one of them things like I want them to succeed. I'm going to be a season member, right, of Atletico whenever they come. They're guaranteed.
Have you not paid your founders club yet?
No, fuck no. I still have to pay
$27, you cheap fuck.
No, sir. I bought a main kit this year, Portland Hearts of Pine kit.
Marcus, how dare you definitely be the only person on this podcast who hasn't paid that yet?
Facts. I bought a jersey.
I just paid for my Trinity season ticket this weekend.
Yeah. It was like I need to get that too. Like, these bills, in the economy being the economy, we got to make decisions. But yeah, no, I just like I said, there was some discussion about like this is why pro rail is necessary. Then there's discussion they're like, well, no, teams need to be hyper focused and being local. And I'm like, yes and no. Every team needs to be hyper focused on being local. But the way you make massive money is being national. The reason the Cowboys play the Giants every fucking year, there's no reason for them to be in the same division.
Yeah.
But he knew Dallas is cool, but New York City is where it's at. So you have to make decisions like this. The reason this team broke through is because a senator showed up, and then he happens to be the most popular human being as far as politics goes besides the president. So that got news coverage, right? So
especially up in that area of the country.
Well, especially everywhere. Bernie is like he's our president we didn't deserve.
But take Vermont and like 10x it to that.
Yes. And there are lots of states like that. What's a professional team in New Mexico, right? Hockey didn't work there, but they moved. Or in Arizona, right? Hockey didn't work there, so they moved. But
hockey didn't work there because of bad ownership, not because of anything else. That was because of poor ownership that wanted to act like private equity. But
like Connecticut has Hartford. And then the women's team just got sold for buku bucks, and then they're moving.
Also the greatest women's basketball team in professional college history, but yeah.
Well, I mean, we're not talking about college. College is a different animal.
Yeah, but college also draws, right? Big colleges, D1 schools also. When you're at this level of USL 1, USL 2, you're competing for your audience with D1 schools.
Well, not USL 2 because you play in the break. So it's the same players. That was one of the storylines, is that a kid that won the national soccer champions.
You're still competing for dollars is what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
You're still competing for market dollars, overall market dollars with D1 teams, right? So if you Lubbock Matadors at the end of the day, they're still competing with a D1 school being right near them, right? And so there's a balance there. But
you're
again,
talking entertainment dollars at that point, right?
Yeah, you're just general entertainment dollars, right? And so, going back to there is a hole in a region.